What am I to do when the day is through?
Hi, it's Jackie Russo. Welcome to the RazorBranding Podcast live video edition. Y'all, I've been so pleased at how well these things have been received. We've really appreciated everybody watching, sharing, commenting. It's crazy to me, but in the 3 weeks that we've been doing this, we've had like 15,000 people viewing these videos, and that really means a lot. So thanks. If you've got somebody that you've seen do a pandemic pivot that you think we should share their story with the world, be sure to let me know. Drop their name into the comments, or you can message me on Facebook or email me, text, smoke signals, however you want to get the word across, but we're always looking for new people. Today, I am honored to invite to our show LeeAnn Stephan. LeeAnn, welcome to RazorBranding Podcast.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So we met actually for the first time last night.
We did. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I know, at like 5 o'clock.
Exactly, because you came by and took our portraits.
Yeah. In that cute little house.
Oh, thanks. We like it. St. Streets are good. But so to everybody who's watching, just know I am saying portrait, not portrait, because most of the ones you're doing right now are on people's porches, right?
Correct. Or
So
outside the house or something
right.
like that.
How did all that come to be? Walk me through it.
Yeah, it basically just started out as a little film project that I was doing. I have this little twin lens reflex camera that my husband gave me for our anniversary, and we were taking little evening drives, and especially when the traffic was a lot better.
Right.
And it kind of gave us a purpose, and it gave us a way to see some of our friends and people with families and ask them how they were doing. And so my buddy Paul offered to develop the film, and that didn't work. That didn't come out. So I had my digital camera with me, and I was taking a backup photo just in case. And yeah, a few weeks after, well, maybe like a week and a half after I started actually taking the photos, that's when I started sharing them. And I shared probably like 10 of them at a time because I had been backlogged. And so, I just didn't really think much of it. I was tagging, the people that I was taking pictures of, and they just kind of took off. It just became this whole other thing. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you have lined up the people, obviously I would imagine it started with your friends and family. And
Yeah.
then from there, we were strangers until we met.
Mm-hmm.
So now are you getting to that phase where people are saying, hey, shoot us, or, oh, you should need to go shoot those people, or it's spreading?
Yeah, it started out, and like that's the power of marketing and social media is, the tagging process. And really for me, what I've found made the biggest impact was the immediacy of it all. So pretty much like the day, especially in the beginning when I didn't have so many to edit, I would edit that family that I shot and share it and tag it almost immediately. So the volume in which I was taking the photos and how fast they were coming out made the biggest difference. And so that quickly got my name just out there. I'm reading the comments.
So Ryan said I would pay at least $100 to go to a gallery showing of all the portraits when we can view art again. Can it be at Russo? So I say yes. Let's do it at Gallery R. Right in the middle of an art walk. How great would that be?
Yeah, that'd be beautiful. I'd love to see them all big,
and I'll let Ryan give you money and everybody else too. That seems fair.
I'll take money anytime.
Sure.
But yeah, so I definitely would have kind of had to do, because I can't keep up with so much, in my inbox. And if you don't friend request and it doesn't go to my direct inbox, it goes to another inbox.
Right.
And so I've really just been taking referrals and recommendations from the people that I'm shooting and reaching out to them if they don't reach out to me first.
Right. So how many are you up to now?
I counted, I'm like a little over 200.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like over. Yeah. So it's great.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
is this going to become a coffee table book?
Possibly. There is a little plan maybe happening. We'll have to see. I don't know if I can say too much about it yet,
All
but
right. Well, and we've
possibly.
got a few up here on the screen scrolling through your website. I love this. I love everything about it. It reminds me of the photography of the Depression era.
Yeah, and so like that was because it started out as a film project. I got a couple of people ask like, why do they have this weird color on them? Why do they have this weird grain on them? I, wanted the digitals to look as close to film photos as possible. So I kept looking at all these old photos of like my family that I have around my house and old photos online of like how that color on film looks. And that's why a lot of them have this color and the grain, and they're not all perfect. They're not all perfectly straight. There's some like, just snapshot, real quick feeling to them.
Right, right. And then I know that you've also done a whole series in Windows. So talk to me about that evolution.
Yeah, so that was kind of an accident the way that happened. And I've seen a lot of other photographers around the world. A lot of photographers are sort of doing this in their own style, in their own way, in their own communities. And I've seen a lot of the window shots come, but for me, it was just a little bit of an accident. My first family that I photographed was Allison and Peter Dayhart. And I like a lot of reflective photography. I do a lot of that in weddings and just in general. I like a lot of double exposure photography. So I knew that window and the glare, and see how Anita, I knew that would be such a cool, it would look like a double exposure without having to do that, because that's a lot more work. So that was really just how that came to be. I just liked the way that looked.
Well, and I like what it says too, because, we all are locked in our houses and shelter in place. And so having people in their house, to me, gets more of a sense of that we're enclosed than when they're out on their porch enjoying the beautiful weather.
Exactly. I feel like the window tells, or through the screen door, it tells a very big story of what we're all going through.
Right. Well, especially the ones where they're pressed up against the glass with their hands up, looking like they're trying to escape. To me, there's a whole other story there as well.
And it became fun too because actually, I think he probably likes to take credit for it, but my buddy James, he's the one who first put his face against the window. And I just thought that was just so funny. So I started telling kids, like, put your face on the window. Yeah, that's so fun.
Right, right. But you can tell how kids can get into it. And I think they're appreciating that this is not the norm, right? This is not the usual moment in time.
Yeah.
So this is special. And so to be able to capture that, I'm, again, making my vote for a coffee table book. We can do that at the Gallery R showing. People can buy books. They can buy pieces. I mean, it's a whole thing now.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I'm just super thankful that so many people have taken a liking to it. That's all I've ever wanted in any of my photos. And now it's like, oh, wait, I didn't plan for all this. But it's great.
It's interesting. Sunday morning, the Today Show ran a whole story on photographers across the country that have been doing portraits and what each community kind of how they responded. And my biggest takeaways, aside from just the weather, because it was interesting to see some of them doing it in snow, which has not been our weather experience.
No, and I think that's great.
Right? It is great. And so I would love to see some sort of a central, whether it's a hashtag or a website, where we can see all of the ones across the country.
Yeah, have a map.
Yes.
You go to and have let's see what they did here. Let's see what they did here. Because it's not like something, any one person made up. It's a universal thing that's happening. It's just special because it's your community and the way you show it.
Right, right. Well, it's the collective consciousness. I think when photographers could no longer go shoot weddings or other events, y'all all had to turn to some way to spend your time and talent. And this was the next logical step in that evolution.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of, I follow a lot of Facebook groups, and I've just been exiting out of them because they're just ridiculous. There's too many. But of photographers like criticizing the other photographers who are doing this, but you're putting yourself in more danger going to the grocery store during that time. It was a safe way for me to get out with my family, for them to see me working, for them to see me relating to other people,
right.
How people are relating to me and their dad. It was just something to do, and it was safe. It's not like we weren't trying to do anything wrong. But
I was gonna say, you weren't within 10 feet of us the whole time. Most of it was further than that.
Exactly. I rang your doorbell with my
and we cleaned it after.
Away. Yeah.
It was like ding dong ditch with a camera.
Yeah.
But so what I do like about it though is, as I see, whether it's through the website or I've been following you on the Facebook page, I get to see people that I haven't gotten to see during this whole time.
Yeah. Yes. And that was one of the first people I shot, Leah. She was saying how, it's just so great. Like, I feel like I'm visiting my friends.
Right.
I feel like I'm seeing my friends. And, for a lot of people who are quarantining alone, that's this kind of thing, and like Zoom meetings and FaceTime, it's just been such a bonding experience to be able to do that. And so if that was another way for people to not feel so alone, that's great.
Right. Well, so we're all in the same boat. Well, in the same storm, not the same boat, in the same storm. But you get to see people quarantined in their houses, and it's a reminder we're not going through this alone. We're all going through this together.
No, and that saying has been, that's been a thing in Lafayette often. I guess I didn't really feel that until something like this has actually, happened. And I really do feel like we are literally all doing this together. We're not missing out on anything. No one's going anywhere. We're all just doing the same thing.
Asterisk, the ones who are following the rules.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Because there's sure been some social media in the past week or so that illustrates maybe not everybody is following the rules. I've seen some parties, a lot of parties.
Yeah, I think we talked about that yesterday. How people are branching out.
Their doneness is becoming evident. As traffic has increased, you can tell. So pre-COVID, what were your favorite types of events or things to photograph? What was your specialty? What did you enjoy the most?
Well, I did a lot of weddings. But what I always just enjoyed the most was when, me and friends of mine would get together and just say, hey, we've got this interesting person we want to shoot. Let's do that. I really always loved shooting families, just because I can relate to a family. I have a family. I know what to look for in that kind of photography. And before all of this happened, I was shooting, I'd gotten a couple of gigs where I was shooting like spaces. So I shot like a hotel and in New Orleans, which was incredible. And then I shot an Airbnb out in Opelousas. And that was something that I was saying, I want more work like this. I love this. I like precision. I get a little crazy about, making sure things are straight. So like that kind of photography really lent itself to those quirks. Because I feel like that kind of stuff has to be very straight and perfect.
Right.
But yeah, I was always a photographer who just liked shooting. So it didn't matter what I was shooting. I just liked doing it.
Right. Now your husband's in a band. Do you get to shoot a lot of his gigs or the gigs of other musicians?
Well, he used to be in a band.
Oh, okay.
He used to be in quite a few bands. He's in school now. He's going to be an electrical engineer in about another year. So he doesn't do a whole lot of banding.
Right. No, not doing a lot of the gigs.
No. But so he's the one who taught me how to use a DSLR camera years ago. His grandfather was a photographer here in Lafayette who used to shoot everything, like the Mardi Gras balls and Petroleum Club stuff. He shot everything. Knew everybody, Do you
have those photos? Like, is there a Lafayette retrospective coming? Because that would be amazing.
That would be really cool. There's a lot of his stuff, I think, at the UL archival department. I know there's a piece of his framed, like right when you walk into the Alumni Center, there's a John Stephan photo framed. And so he was just always really interested in photography. He'd go with his grandpa a lot to shoot. I know he's talked about the ID cards for UL. He shot all of those back in the day.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. So he had a lot of his stuff, and my husband's just like a tinkerer. We're a good balance. So he would fix old cameras. He still does. We have a bunch of old cameras that he's fixed and worked on, and old Polaroids. So it's just always been a little passion of his too.
Right.
Worked out.
I wonder if he ever shot any of the old football games and sporting events at UL.
I think he did. I mean, I don't want to say for sure, but I think he did.
That'd be cool.
There's so much stuff. I mean, and it's crazy. His little photo workshop was, right there on Johnston Street.
Right.
And he'd work from his house, kind of just walk into his yard, go to his workshop. But yeah, he was like Philip Gould.
Right.
Back in the day.
1.0.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love that because I think old Lafayette needs that. Have you had a chance to see the documentary that's been floating around on social media?
What? No.
It's amazing. It takes this history of Lafayette. It shows downtown. It shows geographically how we spread. It is awesome.
Who did that?
I'll send you the link.
Okay, cool.
And maybe if Michael can find it, he'll post it up on the screen. But it is so cool because it shows like modern day stuff as well as old Lafayette stuff. So in the modern day part, they're doing Downtown Alive, and they've got this great segment about Downtown Alive, and then you can see our building right there behind one of the events at Park Sanssouci. So yeah, so it's just like this neat little piece of Lafayette history.
Somebody I photographed the other day, he lives in a really cool old neighborhood in Lafayette, on the north end. And he was saying how Lafayette should get better at preserving its history, and he named the neighborhood, and I was like, I didn't even know this neighborhood had a name like that. That's so cool.
Right.
You go to a place like Austin or New Orleans where every little place has a name. You live in that neighborhood or that neighborhood. Lafayette could be way cooler than it already is.
I think Lafayette's pretty darn cool, but you're right. There's always room for improvement. I would agree. Yeah. So were you into photography before you got married to the grandson of a photographer?
Yeah. So I'm not going to go that far back, but I mean, when we dated years ago, my husband and I, we'd go out and shoot. We'd go on drives and shoot anything and everything. Always had a camera, always shot. I just didn't professionally do it or even think that I think especially my generation of kids, we didn't think about the alternatives until we got a little bit older.
Right.
So I didn't really think that I could ever make money doing that. And then, I just all of a sudden did, and it became great.
That is awesome. So did you grow up in Lafayette?
No, I grew up in New Iberia.
All right.
Right.
Nish or Catholic High?
I went to Nish. I graduated in 2006.
Excellent. Yellow Jackets, is that what y'all are?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. And then college was UL?
Yeah, for a little while. I didn't finish. It's always just kind of been a thing, maybe I should go back, but,
All right,
we'll see one day.
And I think Michael may have just posted the link to that documentary that I was referring to in
cool.
the comments. So if anybody's interested, they can go click that and watch it. It's maybe 20, 30 minutes long, but it is really great little piece of Lafayette history.
Awesome.
This
is so cool.
Very nice. Yeah. It's the beauty of having a producer who's, paying attention and doing stuff. Now, if I head down a path of questions he doesn't like, he will also note that in the comments. So we always have to, just see how it turns out.
We'll keep it PG for Michael.
Yeah, mostly if he has to go deal with a technical issue, then that's when I get to go rogue and kind of do what I want. Always watching.
Always
exactly.
watching.
That's my point. Exactly. So did you have some major events that were planned during the pandemic for work that ended up having to be rescheduled, canceled, furloughed?
Yeah. I had a really cool thing coming up with ACA that I was pretty excited about doing that hopefully we'll still be able to do soon.
Right.
Just in a different way, which is great.
Sure.
And I had probably had my busiest wedding season yet. I feel like I've gotten to the point where I'm like getting weddings and couples who really look at my work and understand what I want to do, and they want exactly what I do. And they're not asking anything more or less. Yeah, all of that's been rescheduled. I've had a few couples now have to reschedule into 2021, and they've rescheduled 2 or 3 times now. So, it's just, I mean, I keep telling them, like, you're not the only one. Right. You're in the same boat. And then festival was going to be just so cool this year. I had such a cool plan with it, and I don't know.
That's right, though. It's all going to come back. It's just going to take a little time.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I feel like we've all learned, I mean, just in doing this series, I've learned so much about, oh, I don't have to do that, or I don't have to do that. I can do this, and I can make this into a thing. So it's been really good for people like me who, just are constantly trying to figure stuff out, trying to make things work.
So you mentioned something, and it resonated with me. Now you've built up your career and your style enough that when people come to you, they're not asking you to do things differently. They want your approach. Where was that turn for you in your career? What point did you feel like, oh, this is who I am?
There was it's kind of funny. Dave Chappelle said it. He's quoted Miles Davis saying that it takes you a long time to like sound like yourself. And so I think it just comes with doing and figuring out, like, this is the kind of photo that I feel the most, or this is the kind of work that I feel the most, and getting better at saying no and not doing something that you don't want to do,
right? Because
it doesn't resonate with you. So I think it just took, years of doing it, a few years of doing it to figure out, like, that's me and that's my voice and that's how I do things.
How would you describe it, the LeeAnn look?
A lot of people have said that it kind of feels like a movie, like very, like, I don't know,
very cinematic, like, very big. Okay.
Yeah, just kind of, and like it feels like those intimate moments of a good film that you're watching. Just like, it feels so good. Or yeah, and I mean, I like low light. I like a lot of low light. So like a lot of my photography is like somebody in a room with one window and like just that one light coming in. Yeah.
What are your favorite places to shoot in Lafayette? Like, what are the little secret spots?
Oh man. I mean, I guess a lot of photographers like going downtown, but honestly, like, I don't think I have a favorite spot because I don't try to like plan that too much. Right. Like, I'm not a photographer who says we got to wait until the perfect time of day. I personally really like hard light. I like hard shadows, and I like finding those things wherever I'm going. Right. Because wherever you go can have something like interesting and cool and fun. You just have to be willing to like open yourself up to it to find it.
Right.
Like, I've been to some weird places now that, you wouldn't even think that, like, we're super photogenic or whatever, but we've made it work. You just have to find interesting light wherever you're going.
Right. And I think a lot of that comes from talent. Don't get me wrong. And so I think that, you take the same amazing camera and put it in 2 different people's hands, you're going to get 2 very different results. So it's not the equipment, right? It's the vision. But when you're looking at a spot, what are you looking for that makes you feel like that I can do something with that? What angle, what composition? Like, how do you know?
I don't know. Okay.
And look, talent is talent. I give it up.
I don't know. I think I just know what I like in a photo. I've noticed though that whenever I'm setting up, like whenever I'm looking for a composition or setting up a shot, I look for a corner. I always look for corners or I look for like something that's descending to where the person or the object that I'm shooting becomes this like focal point.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, see, that was a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just look for like splices of light in these like cool ways.
See, I don't have that vision. That's not my skill set. So I'm always trying to learn from other people because I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah. I like anything that just looks, I guess, like a cool contrast.
Sure. Other than your portrait series, tell me another time that you've had a project that really forced you to be innovative and creative. And
I mean, honestly, this is I didn't go to art school. I'm planning things are way beyond anything that I am fully capable of doing.
right?
I'm not a great planner. I'm not good at like staying on time a lot. I think that's a lot of woohoo artist people or whatever. But yeah, I don't think I've had like a project like this yet. I just haven't.
Right.
The most planning I do is for weddings. And even then, I'm just praying to God that they have a wedding planner. Just hoping, because I'm not the best.
So Kristen asks, when you take photos or edit, do you go more for what you think your clients want, or do you just totally go for your vision? I can understand with such a special event like a wedding, that would be a hard line to walk.
I try to give both. So like they came to me because they like what I'm doing. But they, you gotta give people like something that like classic or timeless. And you have to like show people like, look how nice you look right here. Look how great this is. Yeah, you just have to remember that you're still photographing someone, and they want certain things. I mean, maybe they just didn't even say it, but they do. And so you have to give both, and you have to be okay with like giving both. Like you can't just say, oh, I'm an artist and this is how I do it, or I'm a photographer and this is how I do it. You can't be like that.
Right.
You have to be a workable person. You have to be available to people sometimes and give a little bit. Right. In your style though, because they want your editing and they like what you're doing. So like give them something, that they want to.
Right. So it is kind of in a way like what we do with branding, where you have to establish trust and you have to establish your approach. That's why they're coming to you. And yet you're also still blending to what they need, because they've spent a lot of money on the wedding, and these photos
exactly
hang up for a long time.
And
it's always the best she's ever going to look.
Exactly.
So document it.
Hey, I don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, and a lot of photographers, they'll say, oh God, I can't stand doing those family photos, but those photos are always the first ones that get shared. Right. Because they're always the ones that they can tag everybody in, or that they're using on Mother's Day. Like I saw a few of my photos used yesterday to like express Happy Mother's Day. And those are the ones that I was like, oh God, I'm like, all right. Let's just do this. But those are always the first ones. So you better make sure they look good.
Right.
And
when you think about that standard wedding shot list, right? Because I mean, I had a wedding. I've seen other people have weddings. There tends to be kind of that standard shot list. What's the one that you're like, I think this needs to be removed from the shot list forever?
I don't greatly care for the wedding dress shot.
Okay.
And the wedding dress and like the bridesmaids dresses all lined up.
Right.
And I'm a big proponent of like, make your day about you, and don't look at Pinterest. Don't look at this. Don't look at anything else. Just, what do you want me to shoot? And a lot of times I even ask people like, what's important to you? What are the things that you want me to shoot? What are the things that like first and foremost you are going to look for in your gallery and you're going to be happy with? If those wedding dress shots could just go away, that'd be
right.
So
right. One of my biggest challenges was it's that break in the schedule. So you finish the ceremony, And then you have to take all these pictures while everybody else is at the reception twiddling their thumbs. I'm like, isn't there a way to fix that problem? Because that break in the rhythm of the day is stressful to me.
Yeah, I try to steer people toward those first look photos, because if you have a first look, you know, right after y'all get dressed, you don't have to worry about that break. You can go right into family photos before the ceremony, and then after the ceremony, you can go and party and do whatever you want to do.
But I think everybody hates the idea of losing that moment of him seeing her the first time, you know.
I mean, I think it just depends on what kind of couple you have. And you have to be flexible enough to say, like, whatever, I wasn't stuck to that idea anyway.
Right.
Let's do what you want to do.
Right.
It's your day. I don't care.
How do you handle ownership of the pictures that you take? Like with this social media sharing age, how do you do it?
Ownership in what aspect?
Like, so what you take the pictures, in your opinion, who owns them? You or the people that just hired you?
I gave them printing rights.
Okay.
And I tell everybody, like, no, these are, like, when I send you your photos, you get the high resolution images, you can download them, you can print them, you can do whatever you want to with them. But they're still my photos. Right. Those raw files, like I had somebody way back in the day ask me, no, you're going to send me the raw files because that's what I paid for. And I didn't know what to do because I had never dealt with that.
Right.
And in talking to people, they're like, no, that's your copyright. That is your ownership. And you can use it however you see fit. And granted, you have to be courteous to the people you're shooting and say, hey, I'm going to use these for marketing or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, that's definitely your photos. And all my wedding clients, especially, sign a contract that state that.
Right. Right. Let's be clear up front.
Yeah.
I had a lunch with a group of female artists a couple weeks ago. Well, pre all this. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that, styles and ownership. And these are fine artist painters. And they were talking about they knew they had arrived when they started to see people in other markets mimicking their style. Mm-hmm. So have you arrived yet? Are you starting to see people mimic your style?
Yeah, I've seen it. Well, I mean, in the world of wedding photography, what I'm doing is not mind-blowing. It's not, and I don't think I'm great at it either. I don't think I'm the best person for it. There are other wedding photographers, or just photographers out there who do amazing work. But yeah, I've seen like a couple of my, like, hey, that's my photo.
Right.
Right. But I mean, even still, like, none of that stuff matters. Like, if you, hey, like maybe you see light the way I see light, and maybe you saw that photo similar to the way I saw that photo, and that's great. That means we have stuff in common.
Right.
And that's awesome. Like, if you can get out of your own ego and out of your own head about it, yeah, you'll be a lot happier. Absolutely. And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of saying, like, oh, no, this person's copying me. Like, but it's silly to feel like that, because it doesn't matter.
Right. I think Zach is starting to take some pre-sale orders for the book. He's already got Ryan to buy one, and he's going to do some more pre-sales. So we may have this book pre-sold before you even get it published.
Zach is such a sweet person. Zach and Kara, they're just so sweet. And I had never met them before this. I've met so many people.
Right.
Because of this portrait series.
Your network has just expanded dramatically.
I know. I'm like, why couldn't that have happened before? Why?
It all happens when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So tell me, what have you failed at? What's a time when you're like, oh, that did not go the way I wanted it to?
Oh, I feel like that happens all the time. Like weddings are, oh yeah. My first wedding, I've looked back at those photos and I'm just like, oh man, she should have asked for her money back.
Oh, maybe you could just get her to get married again, and you could do a do-over.
Cool. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, like, how many of those will end up getting married again?
Right.
But
do you feel like you can tell, like, when you're dealing with the stress of the wedding day and you're taking the pictures, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to give them both my card because they'll each be needing me again later?
I guess I shouldn't say anything, but
Well, I'm not asking you to name names. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
But you have a sense, right? Have you been right yet? Have any of your predictions come true?
I think one of them has.
Okay, see?
And me and my husband, he shoots weddings with me sometimes, especially when he's not in school. He'll shoot with me, and I mean, we think we have a really good relationship. So we kind of always use ours as like a soundboard.
Sure.
And yeah, we've had a couple of discussions like, where was the groom the whole time? He just said I do, and then that was it. But yeah, you can tell. Yeah, but as far as like failures go, like there are shoots that I go into now where I'm like, I did not kill that. Right. But then you're being your own worst enemy, because then I get back home and it always takes me a few weeks to like finish a gallery because I overanalyze and I think about it. And by the end of it, I tell my husband, I'm like, no, those photos came out really good. I can't believe I was so stressed about it.
Right.
But yeah, in the middle of stuff, sometimes I'm failing hard.
But you had one of those big ones, like you tripped up the aisle or you left the lens cap on the whole time? I mean, a big like
yeah,
like one of those. Forgot to bring the batteries or the chargers.
I've lost an entire wedding before.
Oh, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I've lost. Ouch. I mean, and I was thankful because I had sent them like 10 or 12. I always send like previews. I've gotten a lot better with it, but I send like 50 now. But I sent her like 10 or 12 photos, and she had those. And I tried, and I mean, it's still one of my biggest moments. But yeah, it happened, and I've never happened again.
But isn't that the point? You learn from that. You may make a new mistake another time, but that mistake you're not going to create again.
No,
because it's a learning experience.
Yeah, and I've gotten a lot. I think too, it helped me learn that you gotta back up more than once, more than twice, and you get stuff out faster. And I've kind of dropped the ball the last couple of weeks. I've got a couple of weddings I need to get out, but yeah, you got to get stuff out in a more timely manner to where different little things will not happen.
Right. How do you encourage professional development in yourself? What do you do to stay on top of your game and keep learning?
I'm constantly, I've noticed, I've always feel like I'm trying to find other avenues of film or photography to get my hands on. Like just this morning, I was looking up a Super 8 camera, or a new like film camera. I'm just always trying to like find ways to like pique my interest, something that'll like give me some new perspective on like the way I edit in digital photography. Because I mean, we can't escape digital photography. It's where we are and it's what we're doing. But film photography, I feel like more for me, I'm not producing a whole lot of that and I'm not showing a whole lot of that, but it always helps me look at like how I'm editing and maybe how I like want to edit later. And then like masterclass videos, I'm always watching those. Like I just finished Annie Leibovitz masterclass videos, and it was just, I mean, it's incredible. Like a lot of the things she said, I've felt like, and and I'm just always constantly like reading stuff on photography, looking at different ways to like develop. I wanna learn how to develop film, or just something like that. I'm always just looking for something new to do because I'm bored all the time.
Build a dark room in your house, like full on.
Well, I mean, I'd like to. Paul's just he's just going for it. He's a madman.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, one day we'll see where it goes.
Right. Laura McIntyre says to tell you hi, that she loves you and misses you and the kids, and that she's so proud of you.
Oh, that's my cousin.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's awesome. What's something that another photographer has done and you've thought, man, I wish I'd thought of that first? Ooh, I wish I'd tried that.
Oh, I did just watch. Okay, so that Annie Leibovitz thing.
Right.
She did something way back in the day that I had thought about doing, and I've tried to make it happen, but I don't know what. I need a better approach, maybe, in like approaching them. But she had done this whole series on go-go dancers, or not go-go dancers, but the flamenco dancers in Vegas. She got portraits of them before they went on stage, like just in normal clothing. And then she got portraits of them all dressed up. And she put them side by side, and it became like a very, like the juxtaposition of it all. And I wanted to do that with drag queens. I wanted to have their, how they were, right, and then how they are and what they turn into. Just because I love, and there's
a huge departure.
Yeah, and they're just such beautiful subjects, and I just feel like that would be such a cool project. And like I even wanted to show like those would be like the main photos, but in between those photos, I wanted to show like the getting ready process, and like they spend hours doing that stuff sometimes.
Right. That
is something so foreign to me because I don't know how to do any of that stuff. And I just think it would be beautiful. I mean, it would just be a beautiful thing to look at and to show. But yeah, I need to figure out a better approach.
That reminds me of Kevin Aucoin's book. Which
right?
Because of the makeup. And so you can see how he would make the progress with makeup, but you're doing that but with photography.
Yeah. I just got to figure out. I've reached out to a few of the ones that I knew, but I don't know. I got to figure out a better way of approaching it, I guess.
Right. What advice would you give to the younger you?
Be patient. I have a really hard time with thinking that like I'm not going to get everything in.
Right.
Because I guess I've always just felt like life's so short. I got to do it. Be patient, and yeah, that's the biggest advice.
I think that's pretty good advice that everyone should listen to.
Yeah.
Most days.
Yeah.
What event most shaped who you are now?
As a photographer? I think, I feel like everything that I've done has like shaped me, has like molded me in some kind of way and shown me different things. I think the thing that I felt the most like, oh my God, this is so cool. It was photographing festival for the first time, or being a part of the team that helped photograph festival. It was Paul's year. But I don't even know him. I just reached out to him. I was like, hey, if there's anything downtown that I can help with, whatever. And then he invited me out for breakfast, and he was like, yeah, you want to do this? And that was just so exciting and cool. That was a big reason why I wanted to move to Lafayette to begin with, because I loved festival. So that was probably like the coolest thing. That was like the thing that showed me like, how fun it could really be.
Well, you're in the cool kid club then. Like you're part of the gang.
I don't think we're very cool. I think we're all super weird and nerdy.
That's what all cool kids say. Just so you know, because I try to downplay it, but it's true. So when you think back to that first festival, is there one photograph in your mind that you're like, that's the shot? That's what the whole weekend was like for me. Like it was to come to this one moment in time.
It wasn't the first one. It was the next year that I did it. There was those stilt walkers.
Yeah.
One of them, one of the other photographers on the team was very like taken aback at like my spunk and how I was running all over the place, and I was just like, I gotta get this shot over here. I've learned that maybe I don't need to do that, but I was running in and out of the stilt walkers, just getting all kinds of different perspectives, and this one of them just like got really low and like grabbed my camera and pulled it toward his face, and he did the coolest things with his hands, and it's just that one shot, big shot of him just in the
I know the
lens.
picture you're talking about. I didn't know
yeah?
you took it. I
did.
love that shot.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that photo, and I feel like that photo kind of buttoned up the weekend.
Absolutely. No, I know exactly. Like when I think about the iconic festival photos, that's one in the top 10 for me because I love the still walkers.
Yeah,
but
me
that's
too.
an angle you never get of them because we're always looking
No.
up at them and all of a sudden we're like face to face.
Yeah, he's in my lens, and then he's so sweet about it too because he kept watching me just like, and I could see him kind of like, following me a little bit, but it was just so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When you think about your career as a whole, not just festival, what's the next iconic shot for you? What's the one where you're like, nailed it?
So the shot that kind of like kickstarted my whole like, I actually really love doing this, was this shot of my friend Shelby and Eric in Pirates Alley in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. A lot of people said it looked like the shot of the sailor
kissing the girl.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It was a black and white photo, and I didn't. We were done. They were just doing that, and I just grabbed my camera and shot it real quick, and I put it in black and white because it just felt so like timeless and perfect. And her leg was up in the right spot, and her hair, and it was just so good. It wasn't like a sloppy kiss either. It was just like it was a good kiss. So that one got me a lot of exposure on an international level with photography or with wedding photography. It's not a wedding photo, but it was in the realm. Right. And then there's a shot of my daughter that it's burned in my head. It's just so cool.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
But isn't that what photography is all about, is capturing that 1 second in time and now it becomes timeless?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can take like 100 photos, 1,000 photos, and there's, one in there that just like, feels so good. And I've related, I was talking to Claire Cook, and I related like the way I feel about photographing events or just photographing anything is that it's like a dance. It's like an energy that you have to feel, and you get into a groove with the whatever you're photographing. And when I'm feeling it, I could feel those shots just happening. They're just coming at me. Right. It's really good.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
What do you say to yourself when you're in doubt?
Oh, I live in doubt. I live in doubt and anxiety. Like, I'm sweating so hardcore right now.
Oh, but you're doing such a great job. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm very good at like faking it. I'll just fake it till I make it, and I'll be fine. I just have to tell myself to breathe and just okay, it's gonna be all right.
It is. It really is.
I told somebody yesterday that's gonna go on my tombstone. Like, it's gonna be fine. It will go on my tombstone.
But it's the tone of voice said with it, like, it's gonna be fine. It's very different from, it's gonna be fine. Two totally different reactions.
Like, I am worried, but it's gonna be fine.
What gives you hope?
I guess the fact that I can always morph and I can always change, and tomorrow, as cheesy as it sounds, but it's a new day. What you did today may not be what you did yet to what you do tomorrow. Right. And that gives me a lot of like push forward, and because who I am today was not who I was 10 years ago. It's two totally different people. So that gives me a lot of hope, and that, we can change, and we can build, and we can become something great.
Right. What do you collect?
I collect cups.
Okay.
I have a weird thing.
Like teacups, plastic Mardi Gras cups.
Either, whatever. Okay.
All right.
Either or. Our cabinet is full of cups.
Okay.
Like, I found these old Dr. Pepper cups from like an antique flea market, whatever, in Sunset, and they were the ones that Ray Charles had the commercial for in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
And I just had to have them. And so if I could ever find those Disney cups that the McDonald's used to sell, I'd buy those.
Like the little jelly glasses?
Yeah, and t-shirts. I like t-shirts a lot.
Aside from the necessities, what's the one thing that you cannot go a day without? Like not
Anything?
counting like oxygen and water. Like what's the one thing you need on a daily basis?
Time.
That's a necessity.
uh, uh, I mean, it's cliche, but it's caffeine.
Okay. No,
I
that's a
can't.
good
I
answer.
cannot. And it's not like an immediate in the morning, as I don't really want anything like right when I wake up. I'm more like a like 9:30, 10 o'clock. That's when I'll take some caffeine,
Okay.
and
And is
that's
it all day long?
no. I have like one
Okay.
beverage per day, and that sets me right.
Okay.
I'm a gentle balance. Yeah.
What is your next project? Like once COVID's over and we're kind of seeing something that feels like a normal life again, what's the next thing you plan on tackling?
It's kind of, I guess it's kind of relates to photography in a way, but I did this workshop a long time ago, a few years ago now, where I was like, showing teenagers photography and like how I looked at light, and I didn't really know how to talk about what I was doing yet because I didn't fully know. But I'd really like to have something like that again, like do something like that again. I'd like to do like a sort of conference in a way for teens going off to college who are interested in like different ways of living, like Ryan Cazares is one of them. This eye doctor who is also in a band and started the Mybrary thing. Like that's, just ways in which there are other ways to make money in this world, and just have, inspiring people come and talk to like the next generation of kids going out into the world trying to like figure out what they're going to do. I don't know if that can fully come into fruition yet. That's a huge tackling project. And I think that would require a team of people to come together and help
I'm
out.
in. I'm
Wouldn't
in.
that
Let
be
me
cool
know.
though?
So cool.
Yeah. And like, have, just different people all
Right.
over talk about like, other ways of living. Cause I feel like that's what I wish high school or some sector of high school would have been like for us, like showing us, yes, go to college, get this, do this, but like, hey, like if you're interested in that, there are ways to do these things, and there are ways to be successful with it and use your degree to go do that.
Right. Right. Well, and I think that people go to high schools for their career connections, which is awesome. And I'm glad that happens because kids need to try to figure out what they're going to do before they commit to college and a path. But to take it that one step further and say it's not just your career path, it's also these side projects that make the world a better place that you need to consider.
And it's something that my generation, especially my kids, we have to do.
Right.
Like, we're not just like these lazy millennials who don't do anything. I have a million things going on all the time. I have a family. I have multiple gigs happening. I have another job. I have a 40-hour per week job. So, I mean, like we have to do those things to survive and to have a nest egg one day to retire. So I just feel like it's important that like it's our responsibility to tell those kids coming up that, hey, there are ways to do it and you can be successful with it. Don't worry. We got you back.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I think that's going to inspire so much in them. Okay.
Yeah.
It's time for the lightning round. You ready?
Oh, okay. All right.
Favorite place on earth?
Torchy's Tacos.
Okay. Movie you can't turn off?
Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, good choice. TV show?
Right now, Master of None. I watch it like crazy. I watch it constantly. It's on repeat.
It's a classic. Favorite book?
I don't really have a favorite book because I don't read that much. But I'm reading The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell.
That's a really good one, actually. Anything Malcolm Gladwell, you're in good hands with. Yeah, absolutely. And Seth Godin, too. Favorite podcast?
Armchair Expert.
It's my favorite.
I love it. It's like hanging out with a friend.
It totally is, except way funnier, wittier, more successful friends.
And I like the new episodes that come out on Thursdays because that's the Expert on Expert. That's so good. And I like revision. Oh, don't get me started on podcasts. I love revisionist history. I love stacks. I mean, I like all kinds.
Should I assume that favorite festival is Festival International, or do you have another favorite festival?
Honestly, I'm not terribly into crowds.
Okay.
But if I had to choose, it would be, I love Festival International. It's great.
All right.
I don't really want to go to any other festival.
Well, sure.
It's not my thing.
Favorite musician?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
I know.
You'd have to break it down into subcategories. But if I had to pick one, I don't know. I mean, one that I'd take with me on a desert island, it would be Radiohead, probably.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
I got to see them in LA way back in the day. It was amazing. And I'm not even a huge fan of theirs, but their concerts, like, it's pretty impressive.
It's the number one thing I regret not seeing.
Okay. If you are going to do karaoke, what song are you performing?
Fiona Apple, Criminal. And I've never done karaoke.
Yeah, but but you know your song. How is
Yeah.
it you've never done it and yet you know your karaoke song?
Because every time I hear it, I live in my head.
Right.
And I'm like, if I were to do karaoke, this would be it.
There you go.
And it would be in this leopard print dress that I have.
Well, see, you're already dressed for it. Maybe we should do some karaoke later. What is your death row meal? Your Last Supper, like this is it.
That is a project I've thought about too, because I'm very interested. I learned when I was a little kid that Timothy McVeigh's last meal before he was out of here was like a gallon of mint chocolate chip ice cream. And I don't know why I always felt like that was so interesting.
Okay.
Maybe it's because it would take him a long time to eat.
Sure.
But it would probably be spaghetti and meatballs.
Okay. Made by anybody special? Straight out of the SpaghettiOs can?
Oh, no. I mean,
Okay.
you
All
know,
right.
maybe Claire, if you're out there, maybe if she made it.
Oh, see?
I'd eat anything she made.
Now you're getting a meal out of it too. Favorite leisure activity?
Doing nothing.
Literally leisure.
Yeah.
Favorite,
Sofa.
favorite sport? No?
Oh, if I had to choose, probably basketball or football. Football.
Okay.
I like going to the games.
Okay.
I love it.
There
It's
you
an
go.
energy.
Sure. Favorite way to treat yourself?
Oh, probably lying in bed eating a whole box of Famous Amos chocolate chip and pecan cookies.
That is awesome. Favorite
Best.
concert you've ever attended?
Oh man. I guess only because it's maybe one of the most recent, but I really enjoyed Grizzly Bear at ACA because I had a seat.
Oh, you weren't working.
Yeah, it was for my 30th birthday.
Nice.
They put on a hell of a show, but I don't know. I've seen there's a lot at this point. No
Right.
idea.
Right.
But yeah, most recent, that one.
Favorite song to listen to when you've got to get yourself pumped up?
God, I don't know. These questions are hard.
I know.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't think
That's
about
all
that right now.
That's okay. Favorite restaurant in Lafayette?
Oh, probably Pamplona because I
Okay.
really like the vibe.
It
It's a
is a great
vibe.
vibe. It is a very
Yeah.
good vibe. Favorite vacation spot? Place to go on vacation?
I haven't been on vacation in a long time.
Okay, so in a perfect world, you're now going. Where are you headed?
Santa Barbara.
Okay, see, you knew the answer.
Yeah.
All right. So it's been an hour. Look at how time flies when
Wow.
we're having fun. How
That
great is
flew.
that? I know. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
It was
you.
awesome to hear the story. So now we have to schedule your downtown art walk showing of your portraits. We have to get your coffee table book published.
Yeah.
We have to get our festival of side projects going so we can inspire kids to do things that make their hearts happy. We got a lot of work to
I'm
do.
really down for that. I want
Okay.
somebody to, whoever's listening to this, like, this would be so great.
We're going to make all that happen.
Yeah.
We have a lot of free time right now, I feel like. So now's the time to plan all of those things
Yeah,
and more.
Exactly.
LeeAnn, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. And to everybody who asked questions, shared, liked, participated, watched, we thank you. Feel free to come back on Wednesday when we are going to have live with us the one and only Krista Vega Bio, who's going to talk about what it's like to try to sell cars during a pandemic. And then
Ooh.
Friday will be Charlotte Bush Cryer talking about moving Caroline and Company across town and opening during a pandemic. So thank y'all very much. We appreciate it, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
What am I had to do when the day is